Next on the Love You More Show.
I need a man because there's something about masculinity coming into my life. I become a better version of myself. It's just like there are things inside of motherhood. Motherhood is the ultimate sense of selflessness. And I feel like being married is the ultimate sense of trust because I have to let go and trust your leadership. And I think that women need to learn there are some things that even though you might think it in your head, you need to know it's not okay to speak that from your mouth. But the problem is we live in this 2025 era where anything is okay. Oh yeah, I called him a you know, this, that, and the other. I ain't gonna cuss.
B-A-N.
Right. Like you should never fix your mouth to say that because ultimately what happens is you've gotta move in alignment with the result that you want. I'm not gonna say I never cussed a man out in my mind. And then I have to think, what is the result that I want?
You know, you ever thought about being in a relationship and then you have all of these very unique points of references, if you would. And so a lot of times you're looking for answers, but you can't really receive the true answers that are necessary for you because a lot of times trauma just kind of blocks the answer that's necessary. Today I want to talk to a young lady who literally has been on a lot of different podcasts, but I believe that you've never, ever, ever seen her in this fashion. She is probably one of the coolest people I ever met from Canada who's not from Toronto. Of course, she has been all over television, dang near all her life. She has a face that's made for TV and just a strong, intelligent young lady. The one and only Dr. Sarah Fontenot is here. She is my Saskatchewan, Canadian friend. And I said it right.
You said it right.
Hallelujah.
Look at God.
Yeah, I'm so proud to have you on. I want to tell everybody I met Sarah on Truth Talks, a show that I was on, and she would come in and guest host, and I was like, "Yo, like you really, really dope."
Thank
and
you.
I
Takes one to know one, by the way.
Come on,
You know.
I'll take it. So on the Love You More show, we like to do this thing that we call an icebreaker.
Okay.
Traditionally, when you do an icebreaker, it's some corny joke,
Oh.
and then everybody kind of laughs and it kind of breaks. But with us, we like to do music.
Okay.
And during this particular song, I'll give you a little backstory.
Okay.
I was married for like 15 years in the house, 17 years in the process, and then by the time we got to year 18, I think we made it to court. But before we did all of that, we at least attempted to do counseling. Check this out.
The love I have for you is like the clockwork. It never stops. This is Lag Out.
Now I am not a mind reader, but I can tell you're lonely, overlooked. But what's funny is I put a ring on your finger. We both said I do, but we both know the truth. That lately we've been feeling single, cause we don't take the time to love each other right. Preachers say we need communication. Tonight let's speak some love language. Oh, first off, since we said I do, in the sight of God we can do what we do. Second off, we don't need no phone. We don't waste time too long. So let me love you like clockwork. Tick tock, tick tock, like clockwork. Tick tock, tick, steady going like clockwork. Tick tock, tick tock, like clockwork. Tick tock, until the end of time.
The name of the song is Clockwork. Come on, somebody. It is available right now wherever music is streamed or sold. If you want to spend a little money, come on. We don't mind that offering. Hallelujah. You know, in that particular song, we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about relationships. And when I was on Truth Talks with you, it was something very, very unique that you shared with me.
Yeah.
That you have been proposed to
Yeah.
2 strong times.
Yes.
What was the determining factor to get into the relationship? But then when it came to that finish line of calling it forever, what made you say, hold up, wait?
Hey.
Like, what were some of the things that were kind of turn
Don't
off?
take me there,
And was
okay?
it something that could have been seen earlier and you may not have had the courage to tell them, like, hey, this ain't really like going there. We just kicking it.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I feel like, especially for women, most of us get into a relationship because someone is persistent enough. Or because, you know, they show enough action or they're doing just enough, but that doesn't mean we're aligned. That doesn't mean that we have core values. And so for me, I grew up thinking I was gonna be married, white picket fence, 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl with my girl in the middle, happy, 6 figures by the time I was 25 years old. And when I hit 25 and that hadn't happened, I was like, okay, maybe 28 that'll happen. And so, you know, it's crazy because we as women are almost seen as more valuable if we are married with children, and we are valueless if we are single, and people will weaponize singleness. And so most of us choose from a space of our mom and dad told us we're supposed to get married. Our brothers and sisters say we're supposed to get married. Our auntie and them, everybody's saying we're supposed to get married. But the truth is, marriage only works if it's rooted in the right things, which is why 2 out of 3 marriages end in divorce, right? So when I first said yes the first time, I was a baby. How old were you? I was 18.
18.
I was 18.
He was older.
He was a little older.
I could just kind of feel.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm finna get this little one.
He was a little older, and that's before I moved to America. You know, I
Okay.
moved here when I was 20 years old.
Okay.
And the second time that I was engaged, I think I was 26, 27, however old I was in 2015. It was a long time ago. And I'm so grateful that in those relationships, in every relationship that I've been in, I've really learned to ask myself, what is it that I desire most? Who is it that I actually want to be? Like when I put on my wife hat, what does that look like? And how is that person pouring into that? Now, instead of being after, marriage and a family, because anybody can give you family, anybody can make you married. But when you're after happiness, alignment, it's rooted in God, now it really matters who fills that space. So for me, it was always like, oh, they were persistent enough. I fell into relationships because it felt good. I fell into relationships because I was getting attention. But now my vetting process is different. So I said yes because I thought that that's what I was supposed to do, and I made it, right? People think the goal is marriage. No, that's not the goal. The goal is happiness, fulfillment, peace, alignment. That should be the goal. And marriage is just something that you do along the way. And so now saying no, I walked away from both of those with my head held high, knowing that ultimately I'm honoring myself. And, there was almost a third time someone asked my dad permission to marry me in front of my mother and I. And my dad didn't like that at all. But what I'm learning is talk is cheap.
So your dad didn't like that at all?
No.
Yeah.
No, my dad didn't. My dad is from Compton. Okay, my mom is
so
Canadian.
Daddy not from Compton.
Nah,
Daddy's from Compton.
Daddy's from
so
Compton.
it's making sense because I was like, it can't be like gangster in Canada, in Saskatchewan.
Oh, but my mom is a gangster now. Don't let her fool you. She's little. She's 5'1". My dad's 6'8".
Okay.
But I'm more afraid of my mother. I love you, Daddy. I'm sorry. I am. I'm more. That lady. She don't play. And my dad doesn't either. But he's more like the hard disciplinarian. My mom is like the methodical, psychological, inspire you to do something. So the two of them together, like my dad's from Compton, my mom's Canadian. I'm right in the middle. So my dad didn't appreciate it because that's a man-to-man conversation. And he said, don't ever ask me this question in front of my wife and my daughter. Like this, you need to come to me as a man. And then I learned through therapy and learning different things. It was breadcrumbing, right? It was someone telling me all the things that I needed to hear so that I would get more locked into and bought into the vision that was being painted in front of me. But the truth is, ultimately, we have to do the work to know ourselves enough, to love ourselves enough, to say no to what we know is not in alignment. And it doesn't matter if you're alone at night. It doesn't matter if you're not, out there in the streets. It doesn't matter if you're not getting attention. You have to love yourself enough to be patient enough. This is the Love You More show. You got to love you enough to be patient enough for what is not only right, but what's aligned.
Yeah. So it's a lot of women on the other side. Do me a favor, if you feeling what you feeling and you're shining, I share, like, subscribe, it's all good. But there's a lot of women looking at that clock. Yeah. They looking at that clock and they saying, you know what? 40 is knocking at my door.
40's knocking at my door.
And I don't see the fruits of my labor. Do you think that there is a beautiful balance between success and family? Because most of the women that I see that are high functioning, you're winning on all walks of life financially, it's like, dang, I know man. But then this other woman over here who's a little bit more kind of humble in her approach in terms of what she does, how she submits. Like, it seems like she get all the men and all that other stuff. Do you have to choose between business and family?
Yes, especially for the men that I date. So let me be clear, because I'm very clear. I believe a woman should be feminine, and I believe a man should be masculine. And I feel like we've gotten to a space where the roles are inverted. Now men are much more feminine and females are much more masculine.
No, I don't agree with that.
I mean, you got to look at it. You got to think about the statistic of how many black mothers are raising their sons by themselves, and so it's not by a desire; it's a necessity. You've got to show that be the breadwinner. You've got to go to work. You've got to raise those children. You've got to pay the bills, and so I can understand why that's happening, especially to our people. But I also feel like it's so important to understand, like, what is most important inside of what it is that we're choosing? And can you choose yourself? So for me, I want high value, high earning, masculine men. And when I'm with my man in the streets, okay, I'm Sarah Fontenot, naming lights, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. When I'm home, I am goo. I am soft, I am nurturing, I am cool-like. I learned from my mother. My dad ruptured a disc in his back when I was 10 years old. We went from a 2-family income household to 1. And so my mom had my dad's injury, all of us kids. She was going to school to get her master's in engineering, a full-time job, trying to make sure we weren't homeless and our own life. And inside of all of that, my mom still made my dad head of household. My mom still submitted to his leadership in the household. And I think that a lot of women, oftentimes, it's like, I make money, I get to tell you how to act. No, 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 baby. Just because you make money, I never lead with how much money I make. And women should not lead with their wallet at all, because ultimately a masculine man doesn't care about how much money you make anyway, because his truest desire is to have provision anyway. And obviously not just financially, but in this sense, I'm talking about financially. So I think that there's a fine line where a lot of these achievement-oriented women, it's not that they're missing out on family, it's that they haven't taken the time to get softer to where they can attract a certain type of man that they say that they want. And honestly, a lot of these women that are achievement-oriented need to go get a more feminine man. Like, why are you looking for the top earning, more masculine man when you can't pop off at a certain type of man? You can't use a certain tone with certain types of men. You can't raise your voice to you're.
Well, at least you know.
You ain't gonna get away with certain stuff, you know? And so a lot of these women are saying what they want, but their actions are not in alignment. You know, they're saying, oh, I need a man to put me in my place. No, you need to put your trauma down so that you don't have to be put in your place. You should know your place already, right? And so for me, I do feel like there is this weird, you know, the clock is turning, but you also just have to surrender. Because having a child is easy, but choosing the wrong partner is hard. That's a hard life. So it's better to, in my opinion, because, you know, I ain't tell nobody how to live nothing, but in my opinion, I would rather be happy. I would rather bring value. I would rather be in a space where I truly enjoy my life than I'm sitting in my car outside the house for an hour before I go inside because I don't want to argue. You know, for male or for women or for females.
Why do I feel so much in this room talking about, ooh? So to those of you on the other side of the camera, we got a light audience in here, and every time she say something that hit people in their shana, all I hear is this brash, ooh, I know that's right in the spirit, shana. I can just feel it. It's like, stop all that ooh and then nah. Hell, go fellas is what I'm on. Anywho, so let's run back real quick.
Yeah.
Dad's from Compton, mom's from Canada.
Yeah.
Dad gets a very, very life-changing injury.
Yeah.
And she is put in a place where she has to be the breadwinner financially to take care of this family.
And the feminine woman still in the household.
Seen online, it was this young lady, she was getting a divorce, and she got up there and she said, I told him when I met him that he was gonna have to take care of all these bills. And I gave him 2 weeks to go out there and do whatever he had to do. And so now I'm moving on. And she was on some type of podcast, and I think he said, well, I know he glad he missed you. Do you believe that during this day and age where either you're high functioning or high earning and all of this, could a woman be able to stay true to a man who may not be the same version he was when you come into the relationship? Because as you know now, freak accidents happen and you may be put into that place. Do you think the climate of the environment that we have in relationship, could a woman still submit to that type of leadership in the midst of a tragedy?
I think it goes back to who are you choosing? Because the money doesn't make the man. The man will make the money, but the money does not make the man. And I think that we kind of gotta go back. There's a couple things that are coming up for me. One being, my heart goes out to men who don't get a chance to vocalize their pain and the hurt that they have, because those types of things happen. And they don't even get to vocalize the fears that they have inside of, if I fall off, will this woman still love me? And this goes back to your vetting process. Baby girl, if you chose a man that you only respect because of the money, then you deserve to stay with that man. You're shallow. Do your job. That's what you signed up for. So if you only want him while he's paying the bills, then what's the point? And so for me, inside of my vetting process, that's actually one of the things that have made dating this beautiful experience for me, because most people are weak. Most people quit because you like that picture on Instagram. Most people quit because, this person's giving me attention. Well, don't confuse interest with value. Because there's a lot of people that will give you interest that don't value you. They just want to smash you, right? And so I think that women and men have this false sense and this inflated sense of ego, thinking that, well, I could do better than you. If you could, then you would have. And so for me, I just very strongly feel like if you choose your person and you respect that man. See, that's the thing about my parents that I saw. My mother respects my father, and my father loves my mother, and he respects my mother. And so inside of their dynamic, just because and my dad got a bad hand. To be honest, 2023 was the hardest year of my entire life. My dad got cancer, and we thought we were going to lose him. It was literally one of the most challenging years of my life. And inside of that, they still choose each other. My parents still hold hands. They still flirt and rub each other's legs. And if it isn't that, I don't want it. But also, Willie, I do have to say this, because oftentimes, and we got to rewind because I don't want to just demonize women here, what we have to understand is the human nature of the human in male and female. Women naturally are going to seek safety and security. It goes back to the hunter-gatherer times. And men naturally are going to desire an aesthetic because it goes to his legacy and it goes to health. Oftentimes, symmetry is equated to health. Right? So it's a subconscious reason why men are seeking women, which is why I often say, ladies, we got to take care of ourselves. I'm an avid believer in that. And so I don't want it to be so much that that woman only wants me for my money. Well, a part of that is nature. And the other part of it is, why are you choosing that man if you're only choosing him for the money? What's the point? There's no way you actually value this. There's no way, because money's too easy. Yeah. It's so fleeting, So I don't agree with that woman. And I've been in situations where my man has lost it and come to stay with me before. I've been in situations where, and I date elite. The men that I date are incredible, in my past and even now, they're incredible. And so I think that it can't just be about the money, but you have to go for a man that you respect, or it's over. It's over before it even began.
So when you look at your family dynamic, what part of the relationship that, I know there's things that you honored, but was there ever parts of the relationship that you said, I'm not going to take that with me? Because I would watch my mom and dad, they've been married 52 years. My daddy, 94 years old.
Dang.
They love each other.
Yes.
It's like hand in glove. But when I seen how much my dad worked and he didn't really do date nights and vacations and all of that stuff, I took that into my relationship. I'm like, you want to go on vacation? Click that light real quick.
Right.
You see it go on? Oh, you know what that is?
Right.
Hawaii.
Right.
You know that? Or,
Yes.
I was just really frugal in that regard. And then, of course, he worked 16 hours a day all my life until I got into high school and started selling. He was like, you're not gonna do that. I'm about to get rid of one of these jobs. Yeah. I can get, make sure that you good, because I started getting in the street a little bit. And I was like, I'm not gonna work myself to death, without honoring my woman. The second time, I'm gonna do the right thing. Last time, baby, I'm sorry, I didn't get it right. I was a workaholic. I was trying to get us out of poverty. I was a hero, didn't want you to work.
It happened.
But this time, I'm gonna do better. Are there anything in your family dynamic you was like, nah, I ain't taking that with me? Wait, hold up. Hey, listen. Sorry to interrupt this amazing interview. I know you feel it in your shana on your left side. But I want to encourage you to join the Love You More Challenge. Statistics have shown that finances are a huge issue in relationships. And we want to make sure that you live in the overflow. So we are hosting a Love You More Challenge where you're going to get all the financial help you need as a couple. I believe this. If two or more gather in his name, there he is in the midst, right? And that he is Jesus Christ. He wants you to get wealth. He wants you to go to the next level. And I'm just tired of y'all bickering about money. I believe this. If your brain is stretched, it can never go back to its original form. So get your pen, get your paper. Let's get together. If you're single and you're serious, I want you to get this financial information. I'm bringing my whole financial team to make sure that you can get right this year. It's a Love You More challenge. Click the link in this YouTube. Flat out.
You know, oddly enough, because I've worked really hard on myself and done the work to find and reflect on the things that I think would work or wouldn't work. And oddly enough, the thing that stands out for me with my parents is I never saw them fight. And so for me, when I was in a relationship, it was like, oh my God, we're fighting. And so
me, I ain't never seen.
I never.
I know that's crazy for you, but I've never seen my mom and dad be like, like
never.
If they get to F you and F you, they go about their business and laugh and they be friends. It's never been a night where they was like, we don't talk to each other. I'm going to another house. I was like, what the hell
That's
is
sleeping
this?
in different bedrooms. I wish somebody would.
Never.
You walk out this door, you just told me you want to be single. We broke up. That's what that is. So because I never saw them fight, I never saw repair. You know? And because I never saw repair, I didn't know how to do it.
You didn't know how to repair.
And because I didn't know
That's
how to
vulnerable.
repair it, now, just transparently speaking now, because I'm like, you know, I'm pretty smart. You know, I could intellectually try to figure things out, but also this don't make sense. And I don't know where this feeling is coming from. And now my neck is hot and I don't know how to cool. So now I'm dealing with all of these things that I've never dealt with before. Now that I'm in this relationship and I'm like, ooh, what do I do with this? And I had to learn.
That was my problem. I don't have my little journal. I didn't know how to repair. I didn't know how to repair because I'd never seen arguments. So I would put it on my chest that like, I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life.
Yeah.
Like my parents ain't do this. Take my word for it. You ain't had your mom and dad. Ooh. This is the way it should go. You know, like you didn't grow up in that dynamic.
No.
And I would say those things too. I'm just being honest. Like I would say that I was very not this virgin. And I realized when you say that, I just learned to this day, I still don't know how to in a healthy manner repair conflict in a relationship. Business-wise, be like, hey, that was just business, man. You know, that's all that was. That's a repair. Like, nigga, I love you.
Right.
It's just, you know, this ain't working.
Right.
But as far as a relationship goes, I'd be like, this ain't the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to feel like this.
So are you still are you actively working on learning
human.
repair?
I actively work on it, but I had to learn that like, and it's crazy, especially as a woman, because we're more emotional, whereas men are more logical.
I know y'all talk like this sometimes.
Oh, like now I've learned. I found out I was crazy in 2012, Willie. I didn't know. Like I did not know. I really didn't know. You know, I had my Diary of a Mad Black Woman moment, and I'm grateful for that. But I shamed myself for a really long time about it. And now that I know that I got crazy in me, there's like literal cues that my body starts to give off. Like, you know how people with that are triggered, they're reactive, right? Now I'm more responsive. I know, and this is in business, in love, in platonic relationships, when I'm really frustrated, the highest level cue that my body will ever give me is literally my neck, like from my chest up to my neck starts to get hot.
See, that's why you're
like,
my sister.
Physically
I'm like, I don't like the way my chest feels. I'm burning up in the chest.
I'm about to. Who's the person in Inside Out, the angry guy?
Yeah.
Like I feel the heat. I am brewing, and so now this is where regulation comes in, right? I need to emotionally regulate how I'm feeling. What I really want to say is, you got me. Like I'm ready. Like this is a different.
No, not Sarah. You got me. No.
So
you give me a different version. You be like,
well, I'm not that version anymore. It's like for someone to take me out of character at this point.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can, because it's a choice for me at this point.
Yeah.
But in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, BC Sarah.
Yeah.
She ain't that nice.
She wasn't that nice.
This is just personally developed. You know, I've worked hard on myself. I understand who it is. I want to move in alignment with the highest calling on my life. But like, I don't give no F's given. You gonna know who, you ain't gonna talk to me any type of way. She's still in here.
Yeah.
She's just sleeping.
She's just sleeping.
Yeah, she's hibernating. And only under dire circumstances would I allow her to come out.
How does a person actively learn how to repair? Like, because I'm not an expert in repairing in relationship. I'm really having a real epiphany right here. I didn't know I was gonna learn something about myself. I'm like, do the Sarah thing. but so do you, now that you know that you didn't do good with repairing, like what's the process of saying, man, I better learn some conflict resolution skills?
Well, number one, you need to understand your cues. You need to understand what do we do, and that's the physical cue, but maybe some people shut down. Maybe other people start to get defensive. Like Dr. Gottman says. He says there are 4 things, he calls them the 4 horsemen in a relationship, where if you have all 4 of these things over a period of time, your relationship will absolutely end. And those 4 things are defensiveness, criticism, contentment, and stonewalling. So defensiveness is where you can't take anything in, so I'm just gonna keep deflecting. Criticizing is obviously picking at that person. Contentment is where you put yourself above your partner, and stonewalling is where you shut down. So when you have all 4 of these things in a relationship, it's absolutely going to end. There's no, and he has timelines, and he's done this for decades. He's studied couples that have either divorced or stayed together or whatever it may be from 1 year, 5 years, 30 plus years he's been doing this research, right? And so inside of those things, are those your cues? Like, what is your reactive state? What is it that you automatically go to? And oddly enough, you know, even in one of my relationships that I was in, highly effective speaking, international speaker. I've been translated in Greek and in Spanish. I've been translated in all these languages, Sarah Fontenot, world traveler, all of these things. When I was in a relationship, there was a person that was so critical and so defensive that within a 7-month span, I was stonewalling in 5 months. We were only together for 7 months total, but it felt like 5 years. And after doing more research, I found that stonewalling usually doesn't even show up in your relationship until 2 years in. So you mean to tell me I'm on the expedited track for stonewalling because this is how much of a toil it was on a daily basis with this person, of all the ways that I wasn't doing what I said I was doing? And so you've got to be, it goes back to your partner choice, right? It goes back to the fact that certain people bring things out of you. What are the cues? If you know that you feel like, dang, that hurt, are you vocalizing that in a way that's vulnerable? And that's another thing for women. We don't say how we feel, we're constantly blaming. So one of the things that I say all the time, Willie, is if you have a thing that you want to say to your man, right? Instead of saying, you don't do this, you don't hear me, you don't help me with nothing, I'm exhausted, you don't see how hard I work. A man hears conflict. You are in your masculine, he is in his masculine. Masculine and masculine does this. They do not go together. But if I were to say to you, let's say I'm exhausted because the kids and you're gone all the time, and I were to say, baby, I am exhausted. The house is a mess. The kids are stressing me out. I really just need time for myself. Maybe it's an hour, maybe it's 3 hours. Maybe I can go to the spa. What can we do about it? I'm breaking. I'm literally falling apart. I need your help. What can we do? A man that loves you is going to say, baby, I'm gonna book your appointment. A man that loves you is going to say, go take a nap. I got the kids from here. A man that loves you will say, you know what, let me get a nanny or a sitter or let me help in some type of way. But if you're always saying, you don't help me, you don't this, it's not effective. So it goes back to, how are you even communicating with that person? We need to be vulnerable in just saying it what it is and how we feel, which creates a safe space now for that man to also share how he feels. But most people miss it because they're too busy. Now, men don't got no safe space to share, though. I hate, because that's like feminine. Like if a dude share the way he feel to a woman, like to his woman, like it's automatically like, well, you can't have an issue. I'm just telling you how it feels to a man, because you don't have an issue. It's like you'll have compound interest with a woman. Because as I'm talking to men, a lot of times they feel like at home their opinion just does not matter. So they can go out and kill it on the elite circuit and build whatever you're going to build. But because there's such a tension in between like, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, you know, you'll sit there and listen every single day. You'll come home. You'll hear about the kids. You'll hear this. You'll hear this. Some men step up to the plate. But it's like, well, damn, I'm putting points on the board, making sure that you have this beautiful lifestyle. As soon as I come in, you cannot just give me the kids. As much as I love you, you know, it's really, really tough to just pop in here and do that. I need a moment. You need a moment. Now, what I've seen success, shout out to my brothers. I ain't met you yet. But one of my white counterparts, shout out to my brother David. I came to his house.
I was like, who the hell is all these people coming in and out the house? He's like, oh, this is all the stuff we need to keep our marriage going.
Yeah.
I was like, what that mean? Yeah, Miss Sydney, she cook meals Monday through Thursday. Miss Geraldine, she keeps the kids for us. She does that 4 times a week because she was getting tired because he has that type of money to be able to hire a staff and staff his home.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dave. He actually helped me staff my home during the opportunity that I had on television. I didn't know how I was going to do it. He was like, you got to spend some of that money. That's what you going to have to do.
Touche,
and you got to spend some money.
Yeah.
How much you making?
Right.
30% going to have to go on building this house because you don't want to change things.
Right.
But a lot of men don't feel appreciated if they're not able to at least get a sense of rest. Everybody thinks what they're doing is important.
Can I give a hack to the men?
Come on, give a hack and we'll see if we'll take it.
Okay, so you've read this book because we talked about it. The Way of the Superior Man by David Data.
Yes.
Incredible read. And inside of the book, see, a lot of men think they want feminine women, but they don't understand that femininity leans on masculinity. And I think it's really important also just to give this disclaimer. All of us have both, right?
Yeah,
The most masculine man still has 10 to 20% femininity. The most feminine women still has 10 to 20% masculinity. It is necessary because there are traits that we need inside of compassion, inside of nature, inside of achievement. There's things that we need from both. So we all have both. I don't want to weaponize either. And if a man is more feminine, that's not wrong. It's not bad. It's just truth. The problem is people start weaponizing it, right? And oh, you're a feminine man. And then a man thinks they're saying I'm a girl. No, femininity is an energy and an essence. It is not a gender. Okay, disclaimer done. Now that being said, femininity, the way that a feminine woman works is everything is right now. So if you have for the last year, you've been like, I'm going to pick up the kids and pick up the dry cleaning. And every single day, you have picked up the kids and you have picked up the dry cleaning. Every single day. And then the day where it matters and she's having a rough day, you forgot to pick up the kids and the dry cleaning. Everything that you've done in the past doesn't count.
No,
Wait, no, I'm trying to tell you, it's human nature. You can't ask for a feminine woman and then get mad when she's feminine. And for men are not that way. Men will say, and you just said it, in business, what you'll say is, oh, look at my track record from the past. I did this for a whole year. Perfect record this whole time. Hey, man, I messed it up. And men are like, oh, yeah, you know what? Logically speaking, because men are logical, logically speaking, this track record is pretty dope. So let's say, yeah, you're probably right. That's okay. But women are emotionally speaking. What does that mean for a woman? For a feminine woman, it means, does he love me? Did he forget about me? Am I not valuable? How could he miss our kids? And so it literally has nothing to do with the man not doing anything right. It's the woman that's not regulated in herself.
Oh, hell no.
It's just the truth.
That's the thing. See, that part right there, I didn't know that.
Yes.
There might be some new information that I didn't
record.
necessarily. And Demetra is shaking her head like preach. I'm gonna just be honest, that ish don't make no sense to me.
Because
hell,
you're logical.
Don't know what that mean. Fellas, what about fellas? I ain't got but a few fellas. Katie, do that make sense?
Logical, Willie.
Does that make sense to you? That makes sense?
He said, yeah.
Hell, the man of God said he just went through it. KD looked like, she talking right. For me, I'm just like, oh my God, is this what I'm gonna have to work through on
if you
every
want
relationship?
A feminine woman. Now, if you
because I damn sure don't want no tough. Excuse me. I don't want nothing tough. I don't even like my steak tough.
Really,
I don't even like my steak tough. Oh no.
So this is the thing.
Hell
so
no.
now men get mad, and and then they say things like, I don't feel appreciated. Look at all the work that I've done, all of these things. So now what you're doing is you're putting her into her masculine, which is what you don't want. And so now it's a battle of masculine and masculine instead of it just allowing for her to be in her feminine. So look, this is the hack. This is the answer. You forgot the dry cleaning and the children. Baby, how could you forget the children? Oh my God. Instead of being like, this is the first time that I forgot the dry cleaning the children in a year. Don't you see my track record? And we know that this happens. This is the first thing that men say because they go to logic. You can't go to logic. Right. You have to go to emotion. So now you've got to say, damn, baby, you're right. I am so sorry. I'm gonna go get the kids right now. But what do most men say? Well, now she wants me to act like a little bee. She wants to run. No, it's none of that. Yeah. She is in her feminine nature.
It's still a cuss word, even if you just say bee.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't be cussing. I'm not a big cusser.
No, I know. Well, you cuss.
Okay.
You just cuss.
I said B.
I just want to tell you.
I
B
did.
is still B.
Little baby.
Hey, wait, hold up. I'm going to look this way and just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Nope, because I'd asked you to do that earlier in the show and you ain't did nothing, but I'm going to pretend like I ain't see it. Did you subscribe? I hope you did. Because listen, the only way that we can expand is if you share with someone else, that you comment, and that you make sure that you tell a friend or tell another friend. So subscribe. Now back to the episode. Flat out.
She wasn't acting like a little baby.
Yeah.
There, that's better.
Good.
Okay, so I say that to say that you've got to understand who your person is, and you've got to do the work to understand a woman. Men say they want a woman, but then they get mad when she doesn't act like a man. That doesn't make any sense. And women say they want a man, but then they get mad when he doesn't act like a woman. So you have to find that middle ground, and you've got to do the work to understand, did I choose a more feminine partner?
I did.
Which is a beautiful thing, because the thing about femininity is a feminine woman that loves you will help you move the earth and you won't even know it. Feminine energy that loves you is a force. It is in essence. It is effortless. We are naturally seeking the need before you even speak it. It is addressed. It is a way where it's like, damn, my neck is sore. I slept wrong. Next thing you know, that night you got a massage scheduled. Or it's the little things like, oh man, like I forgot I needed this. I don't have enough pens at work. Everybody keeps stealing my pens. Next thing you know, you got pens with Willie Moore Jr. engraved on the top, and you got a whole, whatever it is, because we're constantly listening for, what does my man need? So you can't get mad at her for being the person that pays attention to everything, because it's actually that emotional intuition that is the answer to all of your problems as well. We're more intangible, y'all are more tangible, which is why the whole conversation around men getting upset about women wanting men with money doesn't make sense, because it's natural. You want a woman that brings you peace. That's what every man says,
Come on,
right?
praise the Lord.
You want a woman that brings you peace? That's intangible. How do you measure peace? How do you measure value?
It's in my chest.
It's a feeling, because it's emotional.
Yeah, the Bible says, let peace be your umpire.
Oh.
So it's strike,
Yeah.
or it is a home run.
Yeah.
So it's like, boom, all right, that was a strike. No, that was a walk. That's a home run. So I now know, I think discovering peace for me was really beautiful at time being alone.
Yeah.
I spent time alone. I was like, yeah, this is what peace feel like. So bringing somebody else in, and you come in, and I'm like, okay, cool, peace has not left. But when you just said that little part where like, nigga, you did everything right, and then after 3 years you do something wrong, and the whole thing, oh hell no, we're not doing that.
But you have to.
No,
if
that's
you
what
love
I've been
her.
on. If
But
you
most
love her,
men
if
don't.
you love her, you do love her.
No, it's not
I
that
hate
you
when they
don't love
put-
her.
I
It's
hate
not
when
that
they
you don't
put that
love her.
love.
You don't want to meet her where she's at.
It's just you didn't know where you mean that, because that don't make sense.
Because you're logical. But it makes sense to a woman because we're emotional.
Put it on paper though. Like I like to put it on paper.
But that's tangible.
So there go 30 times, and here go one
So here
time
you go being
I was
tangible.
late. And so, but here's the thing. I don't mind it. But
Yeah.
can you still give me that same, babe, you was late, or whatever. I'm going to go to the audience real quick. A few people have questions as well. Speak out loud. I'm going to go here. And what's your name? Shay. This is Shay from? Atlanta. Shay, what's your question?
It's all true. My husband was saying in a heartbeat, but babe, how many times did I? But babe, you didn't do it this time. I promise I have this conversation. All the time.
So what Shay from Atlanta, she's been married now for?
This is the second time, 3 years.
Second time, 3 years. She got it right this time. Y'all make some noise for that. Praise the Lord. And what she's saying is her husband, she says that you're telling the truth because he can do it umpteen times. He get it once and then he get it upset. Like, wait a minute, I've been doing this for years and years.
We don't care.
She's like, no, you didn't get it this time. Let's address this time. I'm learning something today, fellas. Hopefully you sitting next to her just like me thinking to yourself, this don't make no damn sense.
It doesn't.
But it's just the truth. It ain't got to make sense. It just got to make right. That's all. And the way we learn is I guess we got to look at this stuff right.
Yeah.
Kym is over there cringing because he realized he done got a lot of stuff wrong. I wish I could flip the camera. This nigga is scratching his head just like me. I can't believe I wore these pants. I'm hot as a mother up under these pants. I'm like, I got it wrong last week. I almost threw the whole ship away over something like this because this don't make no sense.
Yes.
KD, you had your hand up.
Where's the grace for us? That's all I'm asking.
Katie Bo says, Doc, where's the grace for a man who doesn't know this information because you're a business woman.
Yes.
If you have a person
Yes.
who's been doing the right thing for all these years, been working with you, they make one mistake, don't post something, don't do something, you're not just gonna be like, you're fired. Or maybe you do. Or you say, man, I'm gonna give him a little grace. I'm gonna come at him different.
The grace comes in your accountability.
Oh, so we got to be accountability because of the way you feel.
No, you
or
have to
because
be,
of what we didn't do.
What you didn't do.
Okay.
And it's so easy to just say, damn, baby, you're right.
So
that's my bad.
All right, come on,
Role play.
Because, hey, wait a minute. Let me just say this, because every time I sit next to a pretty woman, you think I'm doing something. I ain't doing nothing. We're about to, she said it, role play a scenario. Do not take this clip and go viral with it.
They do it with me all the time. Any man ever since on my podcast.
He was doing role play. Anyway, so, all right, so I'm coming in.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up the children. I forgot. Long day at work. I'm coming in and my stuff. Usually I'm gonna have my phone and I'm like, let me turn this off because I believe you turn your phone off when you go in the house. You can pay attention for at least the first hour with your family.
I love that.
I'm like, boom, I'm turning my stuff off. Now in my head, that's heroic, should be honored.
Yeah.
Because most men that you talk to don't take accountability for his phone. So in my head, I realize there's some pride in me already.
Yeah.
Because I traditionally wouldn't do this. Because let me tell you something. On that phone.
Yeah.
Oh, Cortez done called me with a music deal. Come on. Miss Jody done called with a new deal.
Yep.
I'm talking about you can speak where I'm speaking at. Next week, I'm going to be with Dr. Eric Thomas. I'm excited about some stuff, but I got to call you back, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you back. I'm finna go in with the babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, babe. And you know she gonna need me. All right, love.
Yeah.
All right, love. Yeah. Sometimes I might do it in the foyer.
Yeah.
To make sure you hear that I am putting you first.
Uh-huh.
All right. No. She right here. She looking at me. I'm chatting to me. I'm gonna show you. Boom.
Baby, where the kids?
I thought you had the kid.
No, today is Tuesday. Where are the kids?
Miss Tuesday? I done left the kid.
How are you going to leave the kids, Willie? You know that Tuesday is your day to pick up the kids. Why wouldn't you pick up the kids?
I'm going to go pick up the kids. I made a mistake, and I'm going to go get them. No worries. It's all good.
Thank you.
Traditionally, that's not what happened.
What happened? What?
She keep
I tried.
coming.
I tried to give it to you.
In the role play, when I humble down, if you go back up,
then you got to set a boundary.
Okay.
And also, so two things need to happen. First of all, one thing that I think I see, usually I be championing the men, but in this case, I got to champion my ladies.
Okay.
Because you said something that stood out to me. You said, let me show you I'm thinking about you so much that I'm about to give you this next hour.
Yeah.
Not realizing that your feminine partner thinks about you all day.
Yeah.
Not 1 hour.
No, so I think
I'm
you're
just
taking
saying,
me wrong.
No. I'm just saying,
I'm just saying,
you're intentional about the time with
I'm
her.
intentional about the first hour that
Yeah.
I'm doing with her. I've been texting nasty stuff all day. Cause I'm letting you know, sex happening from the moment you wake up, I'm plotting. You look good this morning with that one eyelash on. I'm making you laugh by the 11. I'm expecting like I don't believe just coming in and do what you gotta do. So I'm gonna cut it off to kind of put the icing on the cake. Cause girl, all he do is work. I am known to be a worker.
Yeah. But I get it.
But where the problem is, and I'm sure the men on the other side of the camera, is when we do back down and humble, because I'm going to humble myself down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that type of guy. Now, there are some guys like, I've been working all day. You could have picked up the kids or you could have texted and remind me. I'm not him.
Yeah.
Maybe you are fixed that. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
But I think when a man humbles down and then the woman stays up, it'd be like, bro, like, I can't win this one.
That's a respect issue.
Yeah.
That's a boundary that needs to be drawn.
Yeah.
So the truth is, the truth is, if you are humbling yourself down to be a man, ladies, let that man be a man. If you punish him, he's never going to want to do anything nice for you anyway, because who wants to do something when you're entitled to it, or you feel like he's supposed to, or you feel obligated? That doesn't feel good. So let that man live, number one. Number two, men. you gotta set if because you let her do it already. That's the real problem. If you've gone 50, 11 years and all of this time you've allowed her to come back at you, and now you feel like you gotta defend yourself. Man, I've been at work. You could have been got the kids. Already there's no boundary. There's a lack in respect. So the conversation, if I were the man, what I need to hear, because you give me an inch, I'll run a marathon.
So let's run the play then.
Oh, I'll be the guy?
So you the dude.
Okay.
And I'm the counterpart.
Okay.
Ain't nothing soft about me.
Period.
All right, so cool.
That's a real man.
So we come in.
Yeah.
We come in. All right, let me show you what we get.
Okay.
You come on in the house on your phone.
Okay, I'm on my phone. Hey, baby, I'm hanging up the phone right now.
All right. What up, baby? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing? You look good.
I was just about to tell you the same thing.
Look at us. We fine.
I love the way you put your eyebrow right there. You did right. Remember I told you to do it like that? You hit right where you supposed to.
Thank you. I learned.
You missing something?
What am I missing?
The kids in the car, I know.
Oh, dang.
It's Tuesday.
Oh,
Did you check your
dang.
text message? I texted you earlier to remind you to pick up the children.
You know what? I missed it, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna go get them right now.
But how do you
I
not
just
do
told
the
you.
kid?
I'm going to go get them right now.
But I'm just
and that
saying
extra.
the point.
Nope. Look, I don't want us to get into the habit of you thinking that it's okay for you to talk to me in a disrespectful manner. I just told you I'm about to go get the kids. I'm going to get the kids.
Man, I'm not your mother.
That would never happen.
Hey, but look, y'all like that? Ladies, could you handle that, ladies? Yes or yes?
Can I?
Yes? No?
Can I tell you something
look
else?
at Kai.
No. Let me tell you
I
something.
smell bullshit
No,
in here.
let me tell you. Listen, let me tell you.
I smell some bull.
No, let me tell you why. Because women, this is the thing. Femininity, there's another life hack for the men. Y'all ready? Femininity tests. It is a way that we feel safe. So now I'm really testing you to see how far will you let me disrespect you. But ultimately, what I want the most is my man to be a leader. So if you stop me from the beginning, I might be cussing you out in my mind, but secretly I love it. Secretly, I'm like, ooh, my baby, that's a man right there. That man took charge over me. You're letting me know how I get to move and shake within your boundaries because you're the lines. We're the color. You got to teach me to color inside of the lines. So if you don't set that strong boundary,
Who the hell is snapping in here? Hey, listen, we coming live to your city too, so you can do all this stuff that they doing. We coming to a city near you. If you watch it in February, we're in Virginia. You watch it in March, we in DC. You watching it. We come to Chicago. Pastor Hannah them just text.
So I say that to say you, and it has to happen from the beginning because there's nothing harder than trying to, that compound interest. Remember, a penny that compounds over 31 days turns into $10 million. A penny that doubles every day for 31 days is $10 million plus. So if you have all this compound interest of disrespect, now you got $10 million worth of disrespect, that might be harder to fix. Mm-hmm. But if at the beginning it's a penny, what we ain't gonna do is that. I don't even know why you feel comfortable talking to me like that, so I'm gonna let it slide this time. I'm going to get the kids. Mm-hmm. End of conversation. And now it's like, ooh, I can't double this penny. Mm-hmm. I don't want my man will leave me. And that goes back to how women speak to their man. A truly emotionally regulated, masculine man isn't gonna let you talk to them any type of way. Mm-hmm. They gon' check you, and not from a sense of ego, but from a sense of, I love you, why would we talk to each other like that? Mm-hmm. I love us, I love what we're building, but also, I'm the leader. Me too. Yeah. You gotta follow my lead. Mm-hmm. And so now, as a woman, and trust me, I could be as masculine as I wanna be, but with a man, I know my place. So now it's to a point where you don't have to teach me not to talk to you a certain way. I just be like, damn, baby, are you gonna go get the kids or what? Like, what's up? Yeah. You know, like, okay, can you go get them, please, or whatever it is, or you could even be cute and coy with it. Like, the kids ain't here. We got 15 minutes. You know, I can go get them in about 15. You can make it so.
Hell, I forgot the camera was here. I'm in the living room. What you say? I'm sorry, guys. My professionalism went right out the window.
I'm just saying, there's so many different ways that you could go about it where disrespect doesn't creep in. But we live in a disrespectful era. And so now, you know, when Sexy Red is raising our children, or, you know, when the goal is just at absolutely sub level, you've got to raise your own bar, which goes back to, what is it that you want? What are you aware about yourself? How are you vetting out your partner? And are you ladies, are we the color, or are we trying to be the lines? I don't want to be the line.
How y'all feel? Everybody all right in here? How many yeses? Anybody got a challenge in the room? You feel like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Cause here go the thing. All this stuff y'all be saying be so good. You and some of my friends, you know, Stephen speaks. He be talking right. Dr. Brian, and then y'all all in that same thing. But it's like, man, I be feeling like sometimes y'all got it on the outside, but when you get on the inside and you tied at night, the Bible say that the two will become one flesh. And that's like a breaking of all ties. So all of the minutia of, you know, well, he doesn't respect, she don't respect. Like, some of that stuff is just a molding of the mirror that God is attempting to break of you. Yeah. So a lot of times, like, it was a lot of things that I saw when we were dating, like, it was that. And that's what made me want to say I do. Because if I, like, man, damn, did you leave the butter? I was like, yeah, I left the butter. Man, let me run back to Kroger and get the butter. Babe, go get the butter. Because we just dating. But then when you get married and you got the goal, it was like, damn, the first 2 weeks, I was like, you a little different than you were before I put that rock on your finger. Right. And it was like I was learning to adapt, but what I was learning, like, cause literally I would tell myself, like, damn, man, I feel like I'm dying here, bro. Like, like I'm having to learn so much about her that I'm not being as creative as I need to be, because I'm a creative. I want to be fun. I want to be. And then my mentor was like, no, parts of you gotta die.
That's a fact.
Because, like, God is like, she's supposed to feel some things in, because you guys are gonna come. So if it feels like death, that's the way it's supposed to feel. Right. And I was like, no, I don't want to die. It's like, yeah, it's a painful death. Yeah. But there are parts of you that have to die for this marriage to work. Yes. And the question becomes, are you willing to do it? And I think a lot of times people are so champions for marriage, not knowing that it's not this beautiful matrimony, beautiful ceremony. It's like, man, some parts of you are going to have to die. And it becomes so much that sometimes a man, when he says I do, like, when he begins to die, and then it don't feel like she dying too. It'd be like, shit, I'm not finna wither away. Yeah. Like, cause when you dating, this is what we get. It's like, sure, baby. One of my homegirls used to work with me. She was going back and forth with her boyfriend. I'm like, y'all been together 7 months and this your boyfriend? Y'all going through that? It's a hell no for me. Cause it's only gonna get worse when the break-ins start. Yeah. You know, and so, like, I be loving this information, but I be like, come on in the room, close the phone booth, and see what the hell this whole marriage thing is about. Because I wish it was like that. A person get used to you. Yeah. You start sharing your vulnerabilities, what you afraid of. Yeah. That you scared of. Yes. Because you're not married. Yeah. It's some pillow talk that go on. It's like, you ain't as tough, even though you making money. I was insecure. Like, I was insecure. Like, I was not insecure at what you do, but I was insecure. Like, now I go from being this hood guy who now love God, and I'm in the room with Dr. Dollar and Kurt Franklin. I know 7 scriptures. Total at the time. They put me on stages in front of thousands of people. I know 7 strong scriptures. God literally had to come to me and say, but you've mastered them. Some of them might not even know how to live out 7. They just know how to speak 30. Right. And I was like, okay, cool. But then you sharing these insecurities, and I feel like sometimes women get a little bit more disrespectful when you share the innermost parts of your vulnerability, because it come up in arguments. Yeah. It come up in, but you the same guy who said that you was afraid because you was in the room with Kurt Franklin. I was like, I gave you that in confidence. I ain't scared now. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then you get this really crazy rift, and then when you say, hey, I left the kids, it's like, you wouldn't have left Kurt Franklin. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, where did that come from? Right. You know, so, I mean, you know, I think it's here or there. I don't even know what the question is, but I'm just kind of giving you a scenario.
I think that's a beautiful scenario, and I think that comes back to regulation, right? And I think that's the problem. The people that are influencing or inspiring people to be a certain way aren't teaching women. Like, women really aren't being raised to be ladies anymore. Women are being raised to be entitled, to get money, you know, oh, I'm with this person, be flashy, but be a boss babe. I don't need no man. No, I need a man. I do. I'm
Like,
very
no,
clear.
I
I pay all my bills right now. When I'm in a relationship, when I'm in a committed, exclusive relationship, I don't pay a single bill. But until that point, I don't need him to pay my bills. I need a man because there's something about masculinity coming into my life. I become a better version of myself. It's just like there are things inside of motherhood. Motherhood is the ultimate sense of selflessness. And I feel like being married is the ultimate sense of trust because I have to let go and trust your leadership. And I think that women need to learn there are some things that even though you might think it in your head, you need to know it's not okay to speak that from your mouth. But the problem is we live in this 2025 era where anything is okay. Oh yeah, I called him a you know, this, that, and the other. I ain't gonna cuss.
B-A-N.
Right, yes.
Well, you know that's still cousin.
That's a fact. But you
I
said
said
it.
I'm just saying it.
You know what I mean? Like you should never fix your mouth to say that because ultimately what happens is you've gotta move in alignment with the result that you want. I'm not gonna say I ain't never cussed a man out in my mind.
I know you cussed a man
Oh
out
my
in
God,
person
I've
before,
said
too.
like, ooh, I can't stand your. Like I've literally done all of that, and then I have to think, what is the result that I want? Even now, my girlfriends, people ask me all the time, what would you do with this? What would you do with that? How do I say this? They asking, how do I send this text message? There was one girl, I helped her get her man for 3 months. He was really texting me, to be honest. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's just the truth. I really be like, look, you can't say certain things. You know what I mean? Like you just can't do that. And now, you learn because you've been around me for so long how to respond a certain way. What is the result? So when someone says, should I break up with this man? Do you want to break up with this man? Do you want the relationship to? Don't ask your jaded friends or your upset or your jealous auntie or who. You got to really ask yourself, ask God, do I want to be with this person? Because ultimately, if this is the person that you choose over all of the people, they're showing you that you're valuable. They're showing you that you're loved. It's like in the Bible, you don't cast pearls in front of swine. Mm-hmm. Why would you speak to them a certain type of way? And you have to remember that it's like, not that we keep score, but every time you say something hurtful or hateful, you take a point off that you can never get back. Every time you're hateful or hurtful, you take a point away from that person. And so you have to be mindful of, is it worth it? Is the emotion that I'm feeling right now, because again, it goes back to feminine women are much more emotional. And we have to regulate.
I gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
I thought that was a really great point.
Okay,
and I'm not cutting you off, but I gotta know this because I know my time gonna wind down, and Demetria gonna do like a rap thing. But I gotta know this.
Yes.
So for me,
yes,
my tongue, I get paid to speak.
Me too.
And I get paid to run my mouth. Mm-hmm. And I think Jeremy Anderson, who I interviewed once before, he talked about using this for good, and I can use it for evil too. Sometimes when somebody coming at me, I often say, you do know I get paid a lot of money to run my mouth, don't you? Because I could really give you a tongue lashing. Mm-hmm. But through therapy, like I've learned how to regulate and say, okay, so if it's later in the evening, I don't like to get into conflict because I know my old self comes up. The superior man doesn't show up. Mm-hmm. The dominant hood guy who used to be a party promoter with women, like, it's you tripping, you know what I'm saying? That'll come out, and I'll be like, no, you gotta stay down there. Like relax, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would rather be the virgin that could take all of you. So if my woman wants to have a conflict about 10 p.m., I'll say, because I've been in therapy, I know how I process. I know I can journal, I can take it to God in the morning, and then I'll reconvene. But I was like, if you just have to get it out, I'll listen. Mm-hmm. I might not can respond the way you want me to respond.
That's beautiful.
But I want to listen, and I promise you, if we put a pin in it, I'm going to take it to the Lord in the morning. I'm going to journal about it. I'm going to frame it differently, and then I'm going to be able to bring it back to you so I don't leave a scar on your heart for some of the words that I might say while I'm tired. Yeah. Is that okay with you? And I want to ask you, just as a feminine woman, because you're a feminine woman, would that be okay for you if it was something that was kind of plaguing your heart if you know a man been working all day?
Absolutely. And it goes back to Dr. Gottman. He talks about there are certain things that you can do with your partner. Like no matter how upset you are, he talks about even if you're sleeping on opposite sides of the bed, can you make your toes touch? Because what we do oftentimes is when we are upset with someone that we create space, right? So when you create physical space, you're creating emotional space. That's why I said I have this video and thousands of people are in the comments just going off about this thing. But I said, if you walk out that door in the middle of a heated discussion and you just leave and you don't say nothing, you don't say I need to cool down, because you set it up to make me feel safe. You set it up, you didn't create space, you create allowing, and now I get to be regulated enough to say, yes, baby, that's okay. But if you walk out that door and you didn't give me any disclaimer, you didn't help me to feel safe, seen, heard, acknowledged, understood, none of that. You had no compassion, because remember, we're emotional. And just like the ocean is beautiful, it can also be wrathful, right? So now it's like, are you opening the can of wrath or are you opening the can of serenity? And so it goes back to, can you, even if you got to take 20 minutes, you know what, take 20 minutes, go talk to yourself, whatever it may be, or table it if it's late. I understand that.
Because I can feel it when I'm finna be tripping.
Oh, me too. I'm telling you, my neck gets hot.
I'm like, you
now
don't
it's
want
hard
this. You don't want I said, I just want to go to bed. Because I'm going to say some that I probably ain't going to mean in the morning, but it's going to feel good tonight.
Oh, I know that's right.
But I'm learning like to journal. And I'm like, yo, this is just a border and a boundary that I set up for myself. And it don't just go for you. Like even my children. If it's 10 o'clock, I like, hey, champ, I can listen. But by 5, I'm going to go to the Lord. I'm going to journal it out. I'm going to let my dendrites, neurons kind of work together, and I'm going to see what it is. I just know I've made a whole lot of decisions.
Yeah.
I have decision fatigue. And I've been crucified for this, but it's something I discovered about myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I got a voice in leadership, I can make everybody go this way. And that might not be the way God want to go. We look up 2 years, and we in Egypt. We supposed to be in Kansas.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm learning that part about me.
I think that that's beautiful. And I think that goes back to secretly a feminine woman wants leadership. You're showing us. And then what happens? That compounds over time. Now we know. Don't even start an argument at 10 p.m. He ain't gonna talk to me about it. Or if I really need to get something off my chest, then I can get. You're drawing the line. So that's a beautiful thing. And now people get to decide, am I okay with not arguing after 10 p.m.? Does that work for me? That's the question for the woman. If that doesn't work for you, don't choose him. But if that does work for you, you know what? I trust his leadership. That's great. And my question for the woman would be, why would you not be okay with that? Like if you have a space where you get to feel safe, where you get to get something off of your chest, you get to feel heard, seen, and acknowledged, why does his response change anything? That's your own trauma that you've got to work on. That's her trauma, right? If she's like, no, I need an answer right now, you're not regulated. That's not okay either. That's a you thing. Like you got work to do on that. But as a man, for you to be the person that's like, okay, I'm leading this ship. I don't want to do this. I don't want to sleep. We could touch our toes. Let's cuddle, baby. I love you. It's going to be okay. I'm sorry you feel that way. All of that, it's a completely different man. That's an elite man. That's a high value man. I think the problem is today we get high value confused with high earning. You know, we think that money can buy certain things. And I will say, and I've said this before, a lot of black men, Willie.
Come on, black man. You know I'm with you no matter what she say next.
A lot of black men, because of societal pressures and norms and indoctrinations and systemic oppression and racism, a lot of black men, most actually, from my experience in America, even the most successful of the successful to the not of the not, have a chip on their shoulder where they don't get to be emotionally vulnerable. They don't get to be emotionally transparent. They don't get to be emotionally aware because why? They have to be tough. They have to be strong. And so it's a challenge when, when you do start to take hold of your emotions and you do start to step into your man, you also have to remember most black women haven't experienced that if they date black men. Does that make sense? So now it's like, no, you're supposed to be hard with me. You're supposed to be, because that's what I'm used to in my past with Ray Ray and them, you know? But if you're with a man, if you're with a man who is going to value what you have to say, value how you feel, and then say, baby, I don't want to respond tonight. Let's do this in the morning, and this is why. This is what it's going to look like. It'll be better. I have to fall into that because it's safe there.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, that makes sense, 120%. I know that's the truth, and that's why I make sure that my boys, like my son, my 9-year-old, like he would cry, and I was like, what happened? And he's like, well, they wouldn't let me this, that, and he cried, and I was like, well, go ahead and cry. That's a natural response. Hell, I
Yeah.
would cry if they wouldn't have let me play that 9. And he looked up like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's a natural response. Like, it's okay. Like, I want you to be in touch with these emotions so you don't have to put, like, I was the softest, most mushiest hearted kid you ever met, but I grew up in the neighborhood. So you end up getting this rap of I slapped the hell out of you, but I was really afraid. Like, this is my defense mechanism. Like, I became tough because I thought tough was cool. My daddy always gave me freedom to my emotions, but all my other guys was hard. I was like, well, I'm not gonna be the soft one.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you become this, but I want to allow my children to do it. I'm like, bro, if that hurts you, let's talk about it. Let's cry. Let's do whatever we have to do. And I do my best to cry in front of them and just, you know, get that stuff out. Just to land the plane. I do want to ask you this, you know, towards the end of this thing. Like,
wanna
what
ask
do
you a
you see
question,
now?
too. Ask me that in a different way.
Which one?
What do I see now? I also have a
Yeah.
question for you about.
Okay,
being
let's
soft.
run your question and then we'll
Okay.
end with you because you're the guest.
Oh, okay.
Because
okay.
I know you're gonna put some rap on that thing. You know,
Nah, you.
let me-
I mean, you. The
Let me
one.
give you my voice. So when I start doing that airy voice, that's my ministerial voice. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If I do that pause and then I give it to you, I'm gonna say, look right into that camera, and it's gonna be kind of like a TBN ending. I used to work there too.
Okay.
Shout out to Juice TV. Yeah. Anywho, I'll answer your question.
Yes, my question is, how do you fix that?
How do I fix?
Men, especially in the Black community,
Yeah.
feeling like they have to be tough. What's
Yeah.
the resolution?
How do you fix men feeling like they have to be tough?
Yeah, in a world where we're indoctrinated, how do you address it? How do you create awareness around it? How do you create a safe space? I have a friend that's a well-known person, but he's known as hard. He's honestly one of the most philosophical geniuses I've ever met in my life. Like, I'm like, but people wouldn't know he does yoga.
Yeah.
And people
yeah.
wouldn't know he journals. People wouldn't know he meditates and prays because it's not a part of his persona.
Yeah.
How do you address it?
So I would number one say tough is good, because there are some situations where you're gonna have to be tough, but you also have to develop this emotionally intelligent man. And I'm a strong believer that with a strong relationship with Jesus, like that's the part that made me humble enough to receive the type of emotion that God wanted to give me. Because I realized that if I am not emotionally sound on what moment I'm in, I'm going to choose the wrong emotion at the wrong time. I'm going to be tough when I'm supposed to be compassionate. I'm going to be compassionate when I'm supposed to be tough. I'm going to be overtly excited about something in a moment where you with a lot of C personalities and they're looking for statistics, right? Like I went from $1,000 to $25,000 to speak just because I learned different personalities. That there are some strong dominant personalities, D personalities who are drivers. Man, you got to talk to them. You're going to have to come on because they don't really care about how you feel. They care about your result.
Yeah.
I'm going to match your toughness.
Yeah.
But then there's an I personality. Like me, I'm an I. Like I'm a strong I personality. Hey, everybody, I'm going to make sure everybody feels good, even if I'm tired. But I'm going to match that energy. They're supporting people. Like I'm going to do what he do. And then the C personalities like Dimitri, she's not like totally that because she's also an I too. But there's C personalities that you have to come with. So I think really letting men know that it's okay to be both. And then not just giving roles in media and celebrating the tough guy. I just literally, and son, I'll ask you this before, but I literally had to go lobby for my son to be in theater. I said, I identified that that's his call. But y'all ain't got him in drama this year because he has Spanish. Is there a way for me to take Spanish online? Because I have to get him in drama because I've identified that that's the way the Lord wants to use him. Well, we don't know. It's Georgia State, this, that, another, because that's not tough. Like, he's dancing, he's singing. And I'm like, no, if he was the starring running back, you guys will make adjustments if Georgia was looking for him.
Yeah.
So either we're going to figure this out or we're going to figure this out. And we figured it out. But we're going to make sure that you're not going to only celebrate the tough things that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm like, but my son can knock all the football players out with his fist, but his calling is something that may require tights if that's the role.
Yeah.
But we're gonna lobby for that. And he was able to see that although I'm a man who ran track, played football, I swam too, speedos and all. Yeah, I did. I had balance. But what I taught him was that no matter what it looks like to others, it's okay that if you pick something that may not be the tough thing for everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, and I think if men understand that there are different options. The reason why I chose Jesus and faith, because I said, man, if I can make it through this, I know that's a new pathway for black men to see that it ain't soft, that you can be normal, that you can be cool, that you can follow this Bible. And I don't even argue Bible. I'm the proof. One dude in the barbershop asked me, he was like, man, well, how you know he real? How you know he real? Because it wasn't no J's and it wasn't all this. I said, I'm the proof, bro. He's like, what that mean? I was like, because we've been talking for 15 minutes aggressively and I ain't even did nothing to you, champ. That's how you know Jesus real. Everybody in the barbershop was like, woo. I was like, nah, like, I'm not even trying to get at you because you might can whoop me. I'm going to call the police. I'm a taxpayer now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pay taxes now. Like, they on my payroll.
Right.
I'm not going to do nothing, but what I'm telling you is that because of the blood of the Lamb, I don't even respond to that. Like, I won't respond to that. He told me not to even waste my breath on fools, right? Because you going to misconstrue everything. But the way you going to know Jesus is real is because I'm going to let him fight my battles on this one. And so I think if you start putting that in the forefront to African-American men and see more examples, like even pastors, like everybody wanted to be Martin Luther King. That's why you hear these pastors, the older guys, everybody, and when with because he was the pinnacle of communication in pastoring.
Facts.
Like, everybody used to stick their tongue out when I was coming up because everybody wanted to be Michael Jordan. So I think if we can start championing those people as it pertains to education, people who are kind of emotionally different, like, that's why I'm always attempting to be, why you wear a big old hat? Because my dad, he was, in the 70s, this what he wore. He told me every man wore a crown. That's just what he do. So this my crown. It's different. It is what it is. So I think men will be open to it when they see it succeed. Like, we follow what we think succeed. Like, we looking for examples because our daddies wasn't there. Like, our daddies wasn't there to really give us the game. And if our daddies wasn't there, then the hood was. And we was like, oh, that's the way a man's supposed to do? Like, I thank God for Cantus. Like, he got a dad, he still cut his hair every day. Cantus, he ain't the toughest guy. Because, like, we ain't got to do all that. Daddy been married 50 years. You know what I'm saying? My dad been married 50 years. And when I go back to the hood, I'm teaching guys that success is an international language for all people.
Period.
It ain't a hood that I can't go to. Because it's in my eyes what I've been through, but it's on the board what I've become. And I did that through Jesus.
That's good.
And I think the examples are what black men need. And that's why right now you can go to Willie. Now I'm just like, I got an offer. I have a black man challenge right now for $297. I'm joking. Well, we might do it, Kai. Come on, black man mentorship.
Necessary.
Thank you, Sarah Fono.
Yeah.
Okay, so did I answer it correctly?
No, that was beautiful. Yes, that was beautiful and necessary.
So my question to you, and you can look right in that camera. No, just playing. My question for you, like, having the success, I know you probably not looking at the clock. What do you see now? Do you still want to be married? Do you still want a traditional life? Because I'll be honest, I started to get used to being by myself. I'm like, I'm starting to like this too much. I mean, I'm gonna have to, no disrespect, we're gonna have to be together a little longer. I'm starting to like my space. So what do you see for yourself in the next 24 months or 3 years? Or like, what does vision look like now being at the pinnacle of success for Sarah Fono?
I'll be married, I'm certain. I've seen it. I've written my life. I've manifested my life. Like, I see when I wake up in the morning. So I do this thing in the morning, and this has completely transformed my life, where I say, I write, I'm so blessed, happy, and grateful now that, and I write my future as if it's now. And then after I do that, I do it to Baroque music, and then I speak it out loud like I'm trying to explain a movie to you. So as an example, one of the things that I know is I'm so blessed, happy, and grateful now that I woke up this morning, and as I'm laying on my side, I open my eyes and I see my husband, and I touch the bridge of his nose, and he's still sleeping, and I just think to myself, and I say, God, wow, like, I really prayed for you. And I get up, and as I'm getting up, I go to my golf cart. I get on my golf cart, grab the Rosa brings the baby down, and then when she brings the baby down,
help in there.
Of course,
come on, we got it.
Yeah, Rosa brings the baby, and we ride the golf cart down to my mom and dad's house. I pick up my mom, and we go to walk on our because we're on a compound. We go and we walk the land, and we go for walks every morning, and we stop at the garden, and we eat cucumbers straight from the garden. Like, we don't even wash them joints off, and little babies just pitter-pattering around, and it's like, my mom's like, look, a wild Delilah. And I'm like, oh, all of this, and you looking at the wild Delilahs and all of these, like, I've seen it. Like, I've seen I've seen my husband put me on an island wearing his T-shirt. I've seen us having on a black sweetheart cut cap sleeve fitted mermaid dress, and my husband comes and puts my necklace around my neck before we raise $250,000 plus for a humanitarian thing that we're really passionate about. I've seen like the bond that I have with my husband, and this is the thing. If it's not that, God gave me a vision so clear that maybe I'm only meant to see it in my dreams. But if it's not that, I don't want it. If it's not genuine and real and grounded, I want my dad to drink a beer with my husband often on the porch, you know? Christmas Eve, I want us to sing Christmas carols, and the oldest boy living in the house makes homemade eggnog, and we sing Christmas carols and we drink the eggnog, and there's a parental eggnog, and then there's the kid eggnog, and then we all open a gift almost at midnight, and we bake cookies. Me and the kids are baking cookies because I do think I'll also be I'm probably going to be a bonus mom, to be honest. So I'll have bonus children, and I'll
At
have.
least you honest about that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, grown men got babies.
Yeah, they do. They
Yeah,
definitely do.
niggas got
And
babies.
you know what it is for me? I just caught the second wave. Most people on the first wave, you know, they got married. They learned how to be better at being a husband or wife. I missed the first wave, but
I miss it, but I'm gonna catch
now
this.
I'm gonna catch the divorced ones. Yeah. You know, I'm already in a space of like, cause I'm dating. Like I'm not in a committed relationship.
No, I get it.
But one thing about me is, like, you know when it's right, and you know when it's not, and you know when you're like, dang, I really enjoy this person. Like, despite, you know, I don't know how big or crazy your experience was when you went through that divorce. I don't know if people had negative things to say about you or her. No,
that just woke me up.
Yeah. I don't know if that was your experience. But what I do know is I don't care what that person comes with, because I rock with that person. So, like, it doesn't matter. You come with kids, great. You come with a crazy backstory, great. You come with something I didn't expect, great, because I'm powerfully choosing my person. Before I was getting chosen. Now I'm doing the choosing, you know? So I feel like if it isn't that, I don't want it.
Yeah, with all those visions that you just had, I almost said, free at last. Free at last.
Yeah.
Thank God Almighty.
And
Because you had a
doesn't make it
dream
easy.
today.
I had a dream. But you know what? Look, MLK.
That was good.
But this is the thing.
You
and
seen that thing.
I've seen
I was
it.
on the golf cart with you just then.
I'm telling you.
A Delilah?
Yes.
I started to say, Kyle, pull it up. Which one is the Delilah?
I'm telling you.
What color's
I've
them?
seen
No,
it.
but I like the way you seen it.
I've seen it. And this is the thing, too, that we have to be okay. You got to love you more. You got to love you enough. You got to love you so much that you're willing to say no to what you know isn't right. And for me, whoever I choose, that's really going to be my best friend. That's why, you know, I'm dating, but I'm abstinent, because I'm also not going to give the best parts of me to somebody that doesn't deserve it. I might like you right now, but what if we don't even like each other in 3 to 6 months from now? Like, for me, and that's not for everybody, but for me, the person that I choose, I'm intentional about.
I'm seeing this thread going on too, this theme, like you, 50 Cent, few other people. That's like, nah, man, I'm abstaining.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I ain't gonna say celibate.
Yeah.
I ain't committing to God.
Yeah.
I'll fail when it's time, but
but
you know.
but a lot of people are just abstaining now. So maybe that's something you should do. Let me put a bow on this thing. So here's the thing. When I started this conversation, I'll be very, very honest with you. I was asking the Lord, like, where'd you want to go? I got an opportunity to hear just a few things about a woman who's done enough outside work of knowing what someone else's want that equally balances the inside work that she's done on herself. And so my challenge to everybody, black, white, male, female, the question becomes, are you strong enough in this love you more season where you in to, number one, love yourself enough to get the help that you need so you can really reframe some of the traumas that you may be going through, right? Like, there are some things and issues that you may be going through that are a really weird picture. They just need new frames on them, though. Like, the picture ain't as weird as you think. It's just like new frame. Like, for me, being insecure and sharing that with you, that I came in and they put me in this gospel community and gave me a syndicated radio show and started giving me money to do it. I'm like, I'm from Berkeley and I only know 7 scriptures. But then when I put a new frame on it, it was like, yeah, that's when you were most submitted to God because you depended on him. Oh my God, I got a divorce. But you did, but you put a new frame on it, you'll see.
Second
Man, this is my second win. Like, I get an opportunity. I've learned so much. So what I want to challenge you to do is put a new frame on that thing and smile at the things that may not necessarily went the way that you wanted them to go. There's 2 things that we can do. We can either learn or we can complain. I believe that you've learned enough, and now you're going to use your words effectively so you can go out there and live the best life ever. Shout out to our guest, Sarah FOTENOT, from Saskatchewan, Canada, for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
A wealth of information. We really do appreciate you.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. I just got to say to you, great job. You're doing
Thank
a
you.
great job.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about you, Willie, you always have consistent energy. It's always high, even when I'm sure you're tired, because you got a lot of different things going on. And I just love the way that you are authentically you. You are here to inspire, motivate, encourage. And it's like in a world full of fake, I'm just so blessed
Right.
and refreshed by the real. So
Indeed.
thank you for the opportunity to share
Indeed.
today.
Thank you, sis. Number love. Family, listen, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Come on. Subscribe to it. Tell a friend about it. Maybe we should put some music right here. Don't put no music right here. You're going to make me look like my white side. You know, my granddaddy, he full white man.
What?
They're going to be like, oh, Willie was off beat. It must have been Willie Walton. His grandfather's spirit on it. Don't put no music in here. It's going to mess me up. Thank you for watching. Flat out.
Love you more, love you more, love you more.